Welcome to Live Interactive English. Hello everyone, I'm Karen.
And I'm Mike, and we are back here with day 2 of our very exciting Greek myth for this month, Theseus and the Minotaur.
That's right.
This is about Theseus, the prince of Athens, the son of the king, and the Minotaur, a half-man, half-bull monster who lived on the island of Crete in the middle of a labyrinth. Now you might say to yourself, hey, hang on, I got a map here. Athens is here, Crete's way down there, there's a whole lot of water in between. Why is Theseus even bothering with the Minotaur? Well, that's a good question.
Well, he wants to actually defeat the Minotaur, right? Because Minotaur has been eating the young boys and young girls.
Yes.
And then he feels really bad, and he knew the right thing to do was to help people because he is the prince, right?
Exactly right. The Minotaur was living in the middle of this maze, this labyrinth, this scary place where you can't get out of. And all of these young people from Athens would have to go there every 7 years. They would go into the labyrinth and never come out. The Minotaur was having breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. He was eating all of these young. So really Athens at this time was like the restaurant, and the Minotaur was the customer.
That's right.
And they were basically
serving
like
their
food
meals.
panda young people over to the Minotaur. And Theseus one day was like, this is terrible. My young friends, other young people in my city are being eaten by this monster. I gotta do something about it.
That's right. And then so he said that I am going to go and see the Minotaur.
I will fight him.
I wonder what's going to happen. Well, that's where we left off on day 1. And what's going to happen on day 2?
No, you gotta think a lot of these young people might have already had the idea of fighting the Minotaur, right?
That's right.
But none of them came home. So I'm not thinking this is gonna be super easy.
Well, I got a feeling that this prince is going to be different.
Really?
I
Okay,
think.
we'll find out. Let's check out the article.
When Theseus's ship arrived on the island, his good looks and brave spirit caught the eye of King Minos's daughter, Princess Ariadne. Later that day, the princess visited Theseus and whispered hurriedly, "The labyrinth has no exit, but promise to take me away from Crete, and I will help you." Theseus needed all the assistance he could get, so he quickly agreed. Ariadne handed him a sword and a ball of thread and said, "Tie one end to the entrance and let it unwind as you walk. After you defeat the Minotaur, retrace your steps by following the thread."
All right, so Theseus and the Minotaur. Theseus has volunteered to be one of the young people who's going to the Minotaur's lair every 7 years. Now, Theseus, though, he's a brave prince. I don't think he's planning on being eaten. He's planning on doing something about this and getting that Minotaur and finishing this problem and saving all of these young people. But first he has to do all of that, which won't be easy. So let's get back into our story. What's going on?
When Theseus' ship arrived on the island, his good looks and brave spirit caught the eye of King Minos's daughter, Princess Ariadne. Okay, so caught the eye of somebody. That means, the princess finds him very charming.
He's so handsome.
That's right. He's very, very good looking. And then she just can't stop looking at him. So caught the eye of the princess.
Yeah, he's not just good looking, he's also brave.
That's right.
Of course, princesses love that kind of thing, as we all know. So here he's got an admirer, maybe a future girlfriend, and also maybe someone to help him, maybe an ally in his fight. Or maybe she is the daughter of the king who's been, killing all of Theseus's friends. So maybe she won't help him.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know. So let's get back to the article. Later that day, the princess visited Theseus and whispered hurriedly, "The labyrinth has no exit, but promise to take me away from Crete and I will help you." Wow, okay, that's quite an offer. So she gives him some information. The labyrinth has no exit. There's no way out. You will go in and you will get trapped and you will never find your way out. That's useful information. And then she also sort of names her price for giving him the information. She's apparently a very unhappy princess. I think we can guess that her father's kind of a mean guy, right? So she's like, if you do this, if I help you, you have to help me. Take me away from Crete, take me somewhere else. I don't like living here. That's the deal. And I think Theseus is probably happy to have some friends.
That's right, because she said that she is going to help him. I think he needs all the help that he can get, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and that's what the story says. Theseus needed all the assistance he could get, so he quickly agreed. He said, of course, I'm trying to defeat a monster here, a Minotaur, so if anybody can offer some kind of help, of course I'm going to take it, right?
It'd be silly not to.
That's right. So she offered the assistance. So that is a noun. Assistance basically is a word for help or support that is given to someone. And so an example sentence would be, without quick medical assistance, the patient might not survive. That sounds really, really serious.
Yep, and there in that sentence, if we replaced assistance with help, yeah, it would make exactly the same idea.
That's right.
All right, let's go over to Hanny. We will learn a lot of vocab and grammar with her assistance or help.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。雅典王子席修斯决定去克里特岛击败米诺陶。Mike 老师刚刚提到米诺陶的巢穴，这时候老师用到 lair 这个字 ，L-A-I-R。那 lair 表示巢穴。好，故事接着提到席修斯的船抵达岛上时，他英俊的外表还有勇敢的精神，吸引了麦诺斯国王的女儿的目光。那这一位公主就来找席修斯，急忙小声的跟他说，迷宫没有出口。如果席修斯答应带他离开克里特岛，就会帮助他。那席修斯也迅速答应了。看来公主就成了他的盟友。Mike 老师用到 ally 这个字 ，A-L-L-Y 这个字表示盟友或者是有同盟国的意思。那么单字 assistance 名词表示协助帮忙，注意它是不可数名词。这边还有一个重点是祈使句逗号 and 主词加动词的意思。那这个句型当中的祈使句呢，是用来表达条件，相当于if you 加上动词，后面的 and 主词加动词则表示在条件完成后的结果，表示说如果你怎么样就能怎么样，像是 keep practicing and you'll eventually see progress， 也可以说 if you keep practicing you will eventually see progress。 持续练习，你最终会看到进步。那有一个比较用法是，祈使句后面如果是接 or 主词加动词，则表示未完成此条件的后果。那这就相当于 if you don't 加上动词，那是用来提醒或是警告某人务必做到，或者是要避免某事。举例来说 ，Hurry up or you'll be late for school。也可以说 if you don't hurry up, you'll be late for school。 快一点，否则你上学会迟到哦。好，那接回到课文中。
So what else can she do to help him? It says Ariadne handed him a sword and a ball of thread and said, make me a sweater. No, she didn't say that. She said, tie one end to the entrance and let it unwind as you walk. After you defeat the Minotaur, ding, 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 retrace your steps by following the thread.
That is very smart.
This is the way to get out of the labyrinth. Because clearly he has two things to do here. Get in and out alive and kill the monster once he gets in. But if he kills the monster and then is lost and, dies of hunger, that's not very good. So how to get out? Use the thread. Tie it at the door, the entrance, and then just sort of let it follow you. And then when you're finished, you follow it back out. And this might work because thread is basically a long piece of what will become cloth. We make thread out of things like cotton or something like that. And then you twist cotton into a very thin, long line. Now, when you put clothes together, the things that attach your clothes and close them, that's thread. So you might pull it with a needle, the stuff hanging from the needle, that's the thread. Or you might use a sewing machine, in which case you'll have a little ball, a spool, it would be called, of thread. So all this stuff is thread. Now, of course, if you've ever used thread, you know that if you hold one end and drop it, it'll roll and roll and roll. There's a lot of thread on that. So that's the idea. For example, we could say she pulled a thread from her sweater.
Okay, well, she is actually being very helpful here.
This is a very good idea.
That's right. right. I'm talking about the princess, right? But Hanny is also very helpful.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's a good idea
let's go
too.
see her first.
Okay.
公主将一把剑还有一团线球递给席修斯，要他把线的一端绑在入口，然后边走呢边让这个线球展开。在他击败米诺陶后，就沿着这条线原路返回。好，来看 thread 这个名词，它表示线或是细丝。文中用 a ball of thread 就表示一团丝线。Mike 老师这时候还有提到 spool S-P-O-O-L spool 它可以表达像线啊、金属丝啊，或是胶片等等它的卷轴、卷盘的意思。这边还有一个重点是 let 当实义动词的用法。那么这时候 let 三态同形，意思是让或是允许，用法是 let 受词加原形动词，可以表达准许什么做某事，让点点点做某事。注意它没有被动用法。例如 He didn't let anyone know about his decision. 他没有让任何人知道他的决定。好，接回课文中。
Thank you, Hanny. And now we are back. Okay, well, the story is actually, looking good here. I think that maybe the prince can defeat the Minotaur. I mean, he does have a sword, and he has a way to get out of the labyrinth, right? He has the thread that the princess gave him. So, what's there to worry about?
Killing a giant monster, that's one thing. What if the thread breaks?
Oh, you're right.
What if it's a trap and she unties the thread and then on the way out he realizes he can't get out? I mean, we have so much to answer, so many things to learn, and also a giant monster to kill. So let's go. Let's get to the second part.
The next morning, Theseus entered the labyrinth alone. Strange sounds echoed from somewhere deep inside. Swallowing his fear, Theseus tied the thread to the door as Ariadne had instructed and walked into the darkness. At the center of the maze, Theseus found the Minotaur. It roared and charged at him, but the prince fought back. After a long, fierce battle, the creature was killed, and Theseus followed the thread back through the winding paths. When he stepped into the sunlight, victorious, Ariadne and the young Athenians cheered for their returning hero.
Welcome back, everyone. Okay, well, now the story gets really, really exciting. So I think the prince is about to enter the labyrinth, right?
Exactly. He is off on his big quest to find the interior, the middle of the labyrinth where the Minotaur lives, to kill that Minotaur, and then to get out safely. So let's see what happens. It says, the next morning, Theseus entered the labyrinth alone. So they would always go in one by one. That would stop these young people from, making a team to attack the Minotaur. No, it's always one by one or alone. Strange sounds echoed from somewhere deep inside. Probably very scary sounds. The rumbling of the Minotaur as he breathes. Maybe the scream of the other people as the Minotaur eats them or something like that. So I imagine Theseus is very, very scared at this point.
That's right. But however, he is also very, very brave.
And handsome.
That's right. Brave, handsome. That's right.
And scared.
Okay, well, let's continue.
Okay.
So swallowing his fear, Theseus tied the thread to the door as Ariadne had instructed and walked into the darkness. So it's a dark labyrinth, right? Okay, so to instruct, that is a verb. To instruct means to teach someone how to do something or give them an order. So an example sentence would be, the guide instructed everyone to stay on the trail for their safety.
So they're telling you something important, something it would be good for you to remember, just as Hanny will instruct us in all the best ways to have amazing English.
隔天早上，席修斯独自进入迷宫，那奇怪的声音从迷宫深处传来。席修斯他就吞下恐惧，按照公主的指示，把线绑在门上面，然后走进黑暗中。好 ，instruct 这个动词它是指指示正式的这种指示命令，或者是指导传授。Mike 老师在讲解课文时有提到 rumbling 这个字就表示咕噜声啊、隆隆声，或者那种持续低沉的声音。还有提到 quest 这个字 Quest 当名词可以表达探索、寻找或是追求。好，这边有一个重点是过去完成式 had 加上 PP 是用来表示在过去某个时间点或是某个动作之前就已经完成了经验或动作。这个时态常常会跟过去简单式搭配，那先发生的动作就用过去完成式，后发生的动作用过去简单式，用来清楚地表达事件发生的先后顺序。好，举例来说 The children had fallen asleep before he got home. 在他到家之前，孩子们已经睡着了。那孩子们睡着就是先发生的动作，用过去完成式 had fallen. 他到家是后发生的动作，用过去简单式 got. 好，那我们接着回到课文中。
All right, so what's going to happen? Well, there's only one way to know. Let's go on and read the ending. It says, at the center of the maze, or labyrinth, at the center of the maze, Theseus found the Minotaur. That's where he lives. I can imagine there's bones everywhere. The Minotaur is huge and scary, the way a half-man, half-bull monster would be. And it does what you would expect. The Minotaur, it roared and charged at him like bulls do. But the prince fought back using his sword and his thread. He's fighting back against this giant, angry, and very hungry monster.
Okay, well, I wonder if he's going to win.
I hope so. Otherwise, we've wasted 2 days.
Well,
Yes.
after a long, fierce battle, the creature was killed.
Yay!
And Theseus followed the thread back through the winding path.
Yay!
Victory!
Yay, it all
so
worked
he
out perfectly.
did it. Oh, I guess because he was brave enough to fight the Minotaur.
Right, and he had that thread given to him by the very helpful Princess Ariadne. And I guess he's probably pretty good with a sword, too.
Probably very good.
Not his first time in a fierce fight, because if something is fierce, that means it's very violent and vicious. There's a lot of harmful, dangerous things going on. It could be talking about a wild animal and how it seems to have no control over itself or something like that. And we often do use it for the forces of nature, whether it's a wild animal that's very angry and could hurt you or attack you or even kill you, or it could be Mother Nature in terms of weather as well. A fierce wind, a fierce storm, a fierce blizzard, or a fierce typhoon is coming. This means it's going to be very powerful and violent with a high risk of danger. For example, fierce winds knocked down several trees by the road. Got to be a pretty strong wind to knock down a tree, and got to be a pretty strong monster to be a Minotaur.
That's right, and it's a really strange and scary creature, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're looking at this word here, creature, and that is a noun. A creature basically means any living animal, person, or other being that can also refer to something created. Okay, for example, we can say people believe the forest is home to many strange creatures.
Yes.
Okay, but Minotaur is not just strange, but Minotaur is very scary.
Very scary and also very made up, so that's
right.
another reason. It would probably be bad to call a human being, a person, a creature.
True, that is
Right?
true.
You
That is
never
true.
say that this is my beautiful girlfriend, what a lovely creature she is, or, you're my favorite creature, you're my best friend. You don't usually say that. But yeah, for an animal, totally fine, especially for a made-up one in a story like this. Back to that story, it says, when he stepped into the sunlight, or came out of the labyrinth victorious, Ariadne and the young Athenians cheered for their returning hero, and also cheered that they wouldn't be lunch for the Minotaur.
That's right.
Lots of reasons to cheer.
Well, I guess that's a happy ending, right?
Hey, Theseus! Theseus! He's a big hero, just like Annie, who is here to teach us all sorts of wonderful things.
席修斯在迷宫的中心找到了米诺陶，那米诺陶对他咆哮冲了过来。经过一场漫长而激烈的战斗之后，席修斯把这头怪物杀死了。那他沿着线原路返回，带着胜利踏入阳光中，然后公主和雅典的年轻人们都为他欢呼。好，来看单字 fierce。它是形容激烈的、猛烈的或是凶猛的。Mike 老师说，这个字也可以用来描述天气的猛烈。老师这时候提到 blizzard 就是指暴风雪。老师还有提到 vicious， 我们可以学一下 V-I-C-I-O-U-S， 它可以形容凶残的或者是恶毒的、恶意的。下一个单字 creature， 它表示生物或是动物。那接话课文中。
Thank you, Henny. And now we are back. Yay! So
Yay.
that was a happy ending.
It was.
I'm so happy to see that.
The hero Theseus saved the day, and the Minotaur will not be eating anyone ever again.
Exactly. Okay, but however, though, we do have a what do you think question. So let me ask you, Mike.
All right.
Do you think the end of the story would be different if Ariadne did not give Theseus the string? Do you think the prince would have died if the princess didn't offer her help?
That's a good question. I mean, he could have gotten into the labyrinth to the middle. He could have killed the Minotaur like he did, but then gotten lost and stuck and never come out because he didn't have the string. Well, there is actually a way to get out of a labyrinth without using string.
There is?
If he knew that way, he could get out. Yes, if you go into a labyrinth, and this works in computer games too, so remember this.
Okay.
If you go into a labyrinth, always turn the same direction all the time, and you will eventually work your way back to the entrance.
Then you just turn the opposite direction, right?
No, you just keep going. You keep going left. If you go turn left, turn left, turn left, turn left. If you can't turn left, go back to where you were, and then turn left. Again, and that way you can find your way out. It'll take you a lot longer than following a piece of string, but you will be able to escape.
So I guess the story would still be the same, right?
It depends if he knew that or not. If he didn't know that, well, I'm sorry. You're stuck in the labyrinth.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay, but however, the ending of the story was a happy ending.
Yes, it is.
I think everyone was happy to see that he defeated the Minotaur. He was the brave hero.
There you go. And that's why we're still telling this story thousands of years later.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We're going to have more good stuff soon, but until then, fight the Minotaur. And don't forget your string.
That's right. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
When Theseus's ship arrived on the island, his good looks and brave spirit caught the eye of King Minos's daughter, Princess Ariadne. Later that day, the princess visited Theseus and whispered hurriedly, "The labyrinth has no exit, but promise to take me away from Crete, and I will help you." Theseus needed all the assistance he could get, so he quickly agreed. Ariadne handed him a sword and a ball of thread and said, "Tie one end to the entrance and let it unwind as you walk. After you defeat the Minotaur, retrace your steps by following the thread." The next morning, Theseus entered the labyrinth alone. Strange sounds echoed from somewhere deep inside. Swallowing his fear, Theseus tied the thread to the door, as Ariadne had instructed, and walked into the darkness. At the center of the maze, Theseus found the Minotaur. It roared and charged at him, but the prince fought back. After a long, fierce battle, the creature was killed, and Theseus followed the thread back through the winding paths. When he stepped into the sunlight, victorious, Ariadne and the young Athenians cheered for their returning hero.
最后我们来复习今天课文里面的单字文法。单字的部分有 assistance 名词表示协助帮忙， thread 名词表示线细丝， instruct 动词表示正式的指示命令或是指导传授， fierce 是形容激烈的猛烈的凶猛的， creature 名词表示生物动物。文法的部分第一个学到祈使句逗号 and 主词加动词表示如果你怎么样就能怎么样。第二个学到 let 加受词加原形动词表示准许点点点做某事，让什么什么做某事。第三个学到过去完成式 had 加上 PP 是用来表达在过去某个时间点或某个动作之前就已经完成的经验或是动作。好，那以上今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Night markets are well known for their delicious food and vendors selling all types of things. One of the most popular night markets in Taichung City is Feng Chia Night Market, and today we are going to check out a mall there called Feng Chia Fun Star. Feng Chia Fun Star is located in the heart of Feng Chia Night Market on Wenhua Road. The first floor of the mall offers a wide range of stores. They sell many different kinds of things, from popular night market snacks to clothes. You can also play games such as ring toss. The second floor has a large area for people to enjoy the food they buy and see free performances. So next time you visit Feng Chia Night Market, make sure to pay a visit to Feng Chia Fun Star and go see for yourself just how fun it is.